Do you want to do more than follow orders? Think outside of the box and manifest your dreams? Then you've come to the right show. Welcome to the award-winning podcast, Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. I'm your host, Jen Amos, a Gold Star daughter, veteran spouse, and entrepreneur. For Season 9, we continue our partnership with the Rosie Network to highlight motivational stories of personal growth, financial awareness, and autonomy in our military community. We're also excited to continue showcasing our partnership with Blue Water Advisors. Now, let's get started. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back. Could you believe it is already fall? Goodness gracious. I hope you all had a great summer. I did not. And I will talk more about that in the outro in case anyone's interested. But I'm here and I am incredibly excited for the fall season and pretty much for the next 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring. Personally, summer is my least favorite season. I've talked about this extensively in our private podcast show, Inside the Fort. So if you want to check that out, holdingdownthefort.podcast.com/portal. Otherwise, I might give you a hint of it in the outro of this. But anyway, welcome back. Welcome back. Super excited to get into Season 9 of Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. Hope you all have been doing well. Today's going to be a sweet and short trailer because for the first time in Holding Down the Fort history since its existence since summer 2019, we are going to have a short and sweet season, which is another thing I already talk a lot about inside the fort on holdingdownthefort.podcast.com/portal. Check it out. And I'm excited about it, honestly, for various reasons. Normally in a fall season like this, like last year, we would begin around mid-September and wrap up around Christmas time. But for this season, we are going to wrap up early. We're going to be wrapping up during the week of Thanksgiving, which I think couldn't have come at a better time to end a season in the week of gratitude. So I'm excited for that. So yeah, we're going to keep this a short and sweet trailer. As you've heard in the intro of this show, we are continuing our partnership with the Rosie Network and with Blue Water Advisors. So the Rosie Network is all about supporting military-connected entrepreneurs. Really excited to be featuring the guest from the Service to CEO program, plus some returning guests. So going to save that for you. Give you something to look forward to throughout the season on who's coming back to the show. And with Blue Water Advisors, that is US VetWealth's brand partner with Mike Wallace. They are all about helping military retirees with their career progression, which basically means finding your next career in post-military life. So if you are a military retiree or you are retiring and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do for employment in post-military, Blue Water Advisors is the organization to look into. And if you don't know Mike Wallace, I highly encourage you to go back to Season 8 to hear a number of their conversations. I was able to take a break on Thursdays so that we can showcase the live streams that my husband, Scott, has done with Mike Wallace on their show, Take a Knee, which is available today on youtube.com/@ like the @ US VW TV. That's US VW as in US VetWealth TV, US VW TV. And that'll be in the show notes as well, by the way. So if you want to, peer in on that, and especially if you or your spouse is retiring and is concerned about employment and post-military, check out Blue Water Advisors, check out our YouTube channel. All of this will be available in the show notes. Same thing with the Rosie Network. In addition to making this a short and sweet season, in the past 2 seasons, we had released 2 episodes a week for 13 weeks. This season, we will be releasing 1 episode a week, and we will be taking breaks on holidays It's funny being a podcast show that publishes on Mondays because a lot of holidays land on Mondays, which in a way it makes a lot of sense because like 3-day weekends and stuff like that. And in the past, I hadn't honored that. And so this time around, we'll be taking off 1 or 2 Mondays for me to, set healthy boundaries and to take a break, to take it easy. So, I think that the pace of this upcoming season is very reflective of the season, the fall season, of things starting to slow down and enjoying the fall weather, the change in leaves. I especially get to appreciate that living in the East Coast versus spending most of my life in the West Coast in Southern California. And unless you drove out into you go to Julian, you didn't really see a change in the seasons. So I'm very excited to be experiencing that out here in the East Coast as I have for the last number of years. But yeah, I think it's a time to slow down. And it actually means a lot to me too in my stage of life and my stage of being an entrepreneur, which I will probably talk about in the post commentary here. I got to take note of every time I say that so that I remember that I'm going to talk about this in the outro. But yes, we'll be releasing, 1 episode a week while also honoring holidays. And yeah, it's just going to be a more low-key season. Like I said, I'm ecstatic about it. In a way, I had wanted it to be this way all along for this particular season. And I think I had actually manifested it by the amount of conversations we'll be having for season 9. So, and that's it. That is it, y'all. That is my season 9 trailer. I believe, let me look at my calendar here. I believe we will begin with the first interview, a Service to CEO graduate from the Rosie Network, next Monday. That's September 16. So I'll see you then. And of course, listen to the outro on ways to get in touch if you want to, reach out to me or get the show notes of this episode. But otherwise, I hope that you all are looking forward to this fall season as much as I am. And I gotta say, all the conversations that I've had to make this season possible has just filled up my cup. I think this season, it's been about doing enough more so than going over the top like I have in the past. And I'm excited about it. I'm just excited about this season of my life and my approach to podcasting for this fall season. So I hope you enjoy. And with that said, I hope you enjoy listening to the outro and whatever commentary I have after the fact. And otherwise, I'll see you next Monday. Bye for now. Hey there. This is your host, Jen Amos. Thanks again for listening to today's episode of Holding Down the Fort by US VetWealth. Visit holdingdownthefortpodcast.com to access the full show notes of this episode, including resources mentioned and bonus content. Once again, the website is holdingdownthefortpodcast.com. Lastly, stay after the outro for a little something extra. Thanks again, and chat soon. Bye for now. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome again. Hello. Hope you had a good summer. I did not because I got injured. I got injured this summer. It was the dumbest reason. And normally this is something I talk about in the private podcast Inside the Fort, but I'm feeling pretty generous right now because this is going to be a shorter season. It's going to be a shorter season. I believe that instead of the normal 25, 26 episodes, we are only releasing like 10 episodes this season. And it was for a number of reasons. But most of all, I like how the chips fell and how the show is going to play out for the season for a number of reasons. My tongue is tied right now, or my hands are tied behind my back. I can't really say a lot of things publicly. But what I will say here is that this season turned out the way that it needed to turn out. And I'm really happy about that. So anyway, yes, I got injured. I got injured this summer, in case anyone's curious. If you're still listening to this, you're clearly curious to know, like, how did Jen injure herself? Well, it was the dumbest reason. It was I'll be appropriate. It was the silliest reason, okay? I was walking my dog and we were on the beach. And the beach that we live nearby has drain pipe. has drain pipes. So it's those big pipes that could be the size of me, the pretty wide. And there are clear signs that say, do not walk on the drain pipes. And I have ignored those throughout the years of being around these things. But this one was definitely the lesson I needed to learn, because I was walking my dog on the beach and I took one step on a drain pipe. It was first thing in the morning. It was still pretty mossy and wet from the morning dew. And I fell and I was barefoot. So I cut my feet. Sorry, I know it's graphic alert. I don't know what you say. Like, this is no longer PG-13 or PG. But yeah, I cut my feet for the silliest reasons. And that took me out for 10 weeks. 10 weeks to let my body heal. And I got to tell you, it was a very humbling, insightful, enlightening experience. I've never had a major injury in my life, and I don't really even consider this one a major injury, but it got me to think about like people who do get injured, like athletes who get injured and they're like out for a season. And although I was not thoroughly, I didn't have like a broken leg or anything, I had the kind of cuts on your feet that you shouldn't walk on. And so I had to get really creative this summer. I had to get really creative moving around the house and getting by. Now, thank God, I work from home. Thank God for that. I didn't really, not much of my life had been interrupted as a result of this injury, but the convenience of walking around really was taken away from me for a good, at least for those first 3 to 5 weeks. And I counted every day. And you just learn a lot. You just learn a lot from yourself when, at least for me, I took that opportunity to do a lot of self-reflection, do a lot of reading, do a lot of studying, doing a lot of grieving. Grieving that summer wasn't going to turn out the way that I wanted it to. But overall, I felt like it really benefited me in a very positive way, because now it's fall and things are back to quote unquote normal to me, if you can call it normal, back to my normal routine of things. And I'm just more appreciative. I'm more appreciative of my body, my resiliency, my patience, having patience in myself. And I think in a way, this season reflects that, because this season, to my better judgment, I still wanted to do the hustle and I still wanted to pump out at least 26 episodes. But I think this summer has shown me that there's beauty in slowing down. Or let me say that differently. There's beauty in adjusting your pace. Sometimes it's not about the pace, it's not about the speed, it's about the quality. And quality is gonna look different, depending on your season of life and your stage of life and all that. And for me, it's the patience was, how can I preoccupy myself mentally so that I don't keep re-injuring myself? Because I so badly missed going to the gym and just doing the things I normally did. And I had to get creative with how I worked out or how I just lived my day. And I think that in a way it kind of relates, I'm trying to tie it in here to why I'm talking about this on holding on the forts of all the things. But I do think it relates to the adaptability of being a military connected person. And so here's one more thing I'm going to say. So one of the things that I binge watched for the summer was the Alone TV series on the History Channel. If anyone's looking for a real reality TV show, Alone TV series, History Channel. These are people who basically survived in the wilderness alone with only 10 items to bring, and they had to document their entire journey out there. And they all had safety gear, and they had a tap out button if they really wanted, if they couldn't handle it anymore or whatever. But it was very interesting to watch because I just recently finished season 11, and I was watching the commentary of one of the contestants, and they said that they were observing other contestants, and they were observing especially the one that won for season 11. And he said something because when you're out in the wilderness, you can't really dwell. On this show, it shows you can't really dwell for too long because you have so much to do, especially because you're surviving on your own in the wilderness, And this one contestant was making a comment about the winner, and he said, I really loved this contestant's steadiness and his attitude of, the only thing you can do is the next thing. The only thing you can do is the next thing. And that really stuck with me because in my injury this summer, I could have dwelled, which I did for a little bit, But eventually I knew that I needed to move along, and I knew I reminded myself that it wasn't like a major injury where, I had a broken bone. Like I didn't consider it a major injury. Now looking back 10 weeks of that, I guess you can consider that a major injury. Maybe I just have a high tolerance for things. I don't know. But I think I don't consider it a major injury because of that mindset of the only thing I can do is the next thing. And I think that is like the stoicism and the admiration and the culture of the military, is that like the only thing you can do is the next thing. And so I tie this all together, and hopefully it all comes to this, cohesive story of, this summer is very reflective of the pace I'm going now and the deeper appreciation I have for like patience and the quality you find and the wisdom you find in patience, and also in steadiness, like just continuing, like just knowing that the best thing you can do is the next thing. And I felt like that was a lot of my summer. And I feel like that is how this season organically played out as well, is like, did I want more episodes? Yes and no. Yes, because, I want to keep up with the past seasons and produce as much as I've done. No, because I felt like my pace of life was already shifting. And I'm just so grateful that the results of this season like accommodated that, even without me asking it. I think I just somehow manifested it somehow. I don't know. Who knows? But it is what it is. And I'm grateful for it. All right. Well, that is my outro commentary. Thanks for listening. And that was probably a lot longer than the trailer itself. But as a recap, remember, this is going to be a short and sweeter season. Short and sweeter. See what I said? See what I did there? It's going to be sweeter. And who knows, maybe I'll be talking to you more in the outro. I think I might be extra talkative. I don't know. I might be extra talkative because it's going to be a shorter season. We'll see. No promises. But I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.